Good. So, yeah, I heard he was in there a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm not trying to go anywhere I don't have to go.
Mm-hmm.
Right now. So I guess we're just waiting on Geo, actually. I did hear from Janice, who's been the other regular member of this group,
Mm-hmm.
and she's not feeling well today.
Oh, okay.
So depending on how she was feeling by 6 o'clock, she's
Okay.
going to decide, whether or not. So I'm not really expecting her.
Oh. Georgette said
anyway, we are live.
Yeah, Georgette said she wasn't feeling too well today either.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Wow. So, what is it that made you want to join us tonight?
I was talking, texting Georgette. She was talking about James Baldwin, and had a couple of points, and I decided to come out and support a male artist there.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Very good.
What do you think about?
Just check my.
What do you think about the 16? Huh? What do you think about the 1619 project? That might be something good to tackle. A synopsis of that.
Well, is it in book form yet? I think I heard they were.
They're supposed to be coming out. I got it on back order, but I think it's supposed to be in November sometime.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's so much stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah. Well, I felt with that one, my home state, North Carolina, University of North Carolina denied her tenure because of the project.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a big thing about that. And with the critical race theory and everything, I mean, I'm interested to get the read on the, what people are saying is another history. You know what I mean? And I just wanted to look at it kind of critically with what I know, which is not a whole hell of a lot, but because as you already know, we spend most of our time relearning what the hell we've already learned. That's what I've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
Or they taught me a bunch
of
BS.
Absolutely.
And so I was interested to see what was the big flare up on the right. Before the book was even published, almost 9 months ago. They was like losing their mind over this black woman's view of history.
Yeah. Yeah, the big flare up on the right is just distraction.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, that's all that is.
This all is. Hey, Gio.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
How you doing?
I don't see her. What? Where's she at?
We're not hearing you too clearly. Joelle can't see you. I see you, though. You don't see her at all?
No. Let me.
Joelle doesn't see you at all.
Okay, I got her now. I got her.
Oh, okay. All right. But can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hear you, but either you have a delayed connection or I do. It's coming in kind of, kind of slow.
Maybe it's my internet.
That sounded a little better.
Okay, yeah, I got closer to the computer. All right, well,
Okay.
we'll just wing it.
Okay. So Joelle said you weren't feeling that great today. How you feeling now?
I'm a little better. I drank some, I'm drinking some lime and honey and hot water. So let's see what happens. If my screen suddenly goes black, you don't have to dial 911. No.
Yeah, well, I'm not really expecting BJ because she's not feeling well at all today.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What were you gonna say, Joelle?
Oh no, I probably forgot. That's all right. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I guess the gang's all here. So why don't we go on and finish up our chat on James Baldwin. Joelle told me that he decided to come tonight to support a male author. Is this the first male author that we've done in the Global Black Feminists?
Yes, I've been keeping up with y'all.
He said, yeah.
Well, the period when you took a break and it was just Leonie, Kim and I, we did the one psychiatrist, he's a psychologist, a sociologist. Oh, I can never remember the name of the book.
Manaka, Resma,
it might be something like that. Yeah.
Y'all sound like some races. We never had one of them in here before. Back in 1940 something, we had one. It's like, and then I mentioned the Geo one time about a man artist and everything, and she was like, "Oh, I never did paid attention. That sounds just like a racist."
Yeah.
Like, whoa, wow.
Well, it's not really by design. It just kind of, I think, has happened.
You need to listen to yourself. Listen to yourself.
We just wanted to get the best.
Oh, see, oh wow. So we got to get on the action, do we?
No. Actually, James Baldwin is maybe my favorite writer. I mean, I hate to call anybody my favorite because there are so many good people.
Sort of like your best.
But yes. Yes, absolutely.
My best friend is black. See how you sound?
That's terrible.
All right, I'll leave you.
All right. Well,
okay, let's move on.
Yeah, no, it's really not by design. The first book we did was by a white woman. And I thought that was, perhaps going to be a little controversial. But I wanted to read about the topic that she had written about. And, I guess we probably have mostly done Black women, but
mostly. Oh, come on, come on, let's don't be like America try to rewrite history.
Well, if we had more participation from our brothers, maybe we.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. And we've only done 16 books, so.
And you can name what? How many? How many? We're like at 6%.
16 is A drop in the bucket.
You know.
Yeah, we're gonna catch y'all. Wait.
No, but no, I was not aware of that. So thank you for bringing that to our attention.
I'm glad.
We will.
I'm glad to be your EEO representative.
We will deliberate. And you're the one that suggested we might do the 1619 project. Yet that's another woman.
But I am conditioned. You understand what I'm saying? I'm fitting into the good Negro, the good man. He's a good one.
Oh, you gotta be a good one to come sit with us.
Oh Lord.
Oh, all right. Well, let's give James Baldwin his due. And let me welcome everybody to the Global Black Feminist Reading Circle. And anybody can be a feminist. So we are so glad that Joel has joined us tonight. Joel, of course, is one of the early members of the group, and we haven't seen a lot of him lately. So glad that you are sitting in with us tonight. And as I said, we're on book 16, where tonight is our last discussion on Nothing Personal. Nothing Personal by James Baldwin. And with a introduction by a foreword by Imani Perry and an afterword by Eddie S. Glaude Jr., both of whom are scholars at Princeton University. And so tonight's discussion is really focused on the afterword by Eddie Glaude. You can learn more about the Global Black Feminist Reading Circle on our YouTube channel, where all of our videos going back to 2014 are housed, as well as a Facebook page under the same name, where we post event notices and other related materials. And just recently, we developed a website called Reading Changes Lives that talks about all of the groups that I host periodically. One of them is called Reading for Change, where Joel participated a little bit over there with us, but we read a book. Two books I think we read, one by a man, one by a woman. And the other one is called the Revolutionary Love Leadership Series, which I have not done anything with in quite a while. So maybe it's time for me to look at that. My name is Michelle Odom. I'm located in Brooklyn, New York. And Joel?
Joel Jones. I'm here in Charleston, South Carolina. See the weather back here? See how it looks?
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Nice. Nice fall afternoon.
Okay. And Gio?
Hey, everybody. I'm Georgette Moses, and I'm joining you guys from, I get myself straight. Okay, Columbia, South Carolina.
Yay! All right. Well, everybody is here, and hopefully she will feel a little bit better and pop in before we leave tonight. But for tonight is the 6th discussion that we're having on this book, the 6th and final. And Janice Graham has been with us for all of the other discussions. So I really wish you were able to be with us tonight. So let me read the little short summary, which starts out with a long quote from Eddie Glaude. If I am reading Nothing Personal correctly, the country needs its strangers to resolve the sense of alienation that threatens to suffocate this place. The enemy and evil without, and the violence we exact upon the threat they present or directly upon them keeps us whole, while the rot within corrupts everything. Nothing Personal exposes all of this without a hint of sentimentality. And our failure to trust others, and more importantly, ourselves, makes us mysteries to one another. Our greed and insatiable desire to hold on to what we have makes us susceptible to the lies. In fact, we become apostles of the lies that justify the evils that make our way of life possible. And then, in summary of the Afterword, Glaude identifies what he sees as key themes of Baldwin's work, such as history, identity, death, loneliness, despair, and love, and offers his interpretation of the most urgent messages offered in Nothing Personal, including the need for Americans to grow up and the power of love to help us overcome the brutality and malaise of our living in this place and time. And then I wrote a grand total of three questions, I think, for tonight. That's the most questions I've written, Joel, I think, this entire book.
Wow.
Because we've been real informal this time. I think I like this process, Gio. How do you feel about it?
It's cool. I like it a lot. You know, it's less stressful, more participatory.
It's less, yeah. Yeah. And so we haven't really had a facilitator, and each one of us has taken some responsibility to bring one question or something to share to start the discussion. And I haven't had to work so hard putting together the meeting, so I like it.
2 thumbs up.
Yeah, because I tell you what, a couple of times when I had to moderate, I felt I should have got a grade or something. But I mean, all that outlining. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I need a grade for this.
Yeah,
it's going to affect my GPA.
Yeah.
You weren't quite serious.
Well, yeah.
But it
makes
was cool.
Good discussion.
It was cool.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah. But Gio and I have been doing this now for 16 books, so
Wow, I know.
We deserve it. We deserve a break.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So who wants to start us off tonight? What's on your mind? Well, you said you had a couple of points you wanted to share.
I can't go first. I ain't read it like that. Not coming in.
Oh, all right. All right. I think I want, because I'm in a reading mood, I think I want to go to question 2. And I want to read this poem to you. So question 2, Baldwin relentlessly describes what America puts on offer and how we drown in it all. Here, ironically, I suppose he echoes Walt Whitman's The Million Dead, 2 summed up. One long sentence about our dead, as he accounts for the death of the American heart. So let me share the screen and share the poem, if I can find it. Where is it? Share. Okay, you can see that?
Almost. Yes, now we can. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is The Million Dead, two summed up by Walt Whitman, who lived 1819 to 1892. The dead in this war, there they lie, strewing the fields and woods and valleys and battlefields of the South. Virginia, the Peninsula, Malvern Hill and Fair Oaks, the banks of Chickahominy, the terraces of Fredericksburg, Antietam Bridge, the grisly ravines of Manassas, the bloody promenade of the wilderness, the varieties of the strayed dead. The estimate of the War Department is 25,000 national soldiers killed in battle and never buried at all, 5,000 drowned, 15,000 inhumed by strangers or on the march in haste in hitherto unfound localities, 2,000 graves covered by sand and mud and Mississippi freshets, 3,000 carried away by caving in of banks, etc. Gettysburg, the West, Southwest, Vicksburg, Chattanooga, the trenches of Petersburg, the numberless battles, camps, hospitals, everywhere, the crop reaped by the mighty reapers, typhoid, dysentery, inflammations, and blackest and loathsomest of all, the dead and living burial pits. The prison pens of Andersonville, Salisbury, Belle Isle, etc., not Dante's pictured hell and all its woes, its degradations, filthy torments, excelled those prisons. The dead, the dead, the dead are dead, or south or north, ours all, finally dear to me. Or east or west, Atlantic coast or Mississippi Valley, somewhere they'd crawled to die alone in bushes, low gullies, or on the sides of hills. There in secluded spots, their skeletons, bleached bones, tufts of hair, buttons, fragments of clothing are occasionally found. Yet our young men, once so handsome and so joyous, taken from us, the son from the mother, the husband from the wife, the dear friend from the dear friend, the clusters of camp graves in Georgia, the Carolinas, and in Tennessee. The single graves left in the woods or by the roadside, hundreds, thousands obliterated. The corpses floated down the rivers and caught and lodged. Dozens, scores floated down the upper Potomac. After the cavalry engagements, the pursuit of Lee following Gettysburg. Some lie at the bottom of the sea, the general million, and the special cemeteries in almost all the states, the infinite dead, the land entire, saturated, perfumed with their impalpable ashes, exhalation in nature's chemistry, distilled and shall be so forever. In every future grain of wheat and ear of corn, and every flower that grows, and every breath we draw, not only northern dead leaving southern soil, thousands, tens of thousands of Southerners crumble today in northern earth. And everywhere among these countless graves, everywhere in the many soldier cemeteries of the nation, there are now, I believe, over 70 of them, as at the time in the vast trenches, the depositories of slain, northern and southern, after the great battles, not only where the scathing trail past those years, but radiating since in all the peaceful quarters of the land, we see, and ages yet may see, on monuments and gravestones, singly or in masses, to thousands or tens of thousands, the significant word unknown. In some of the cemeteries, nearly all the dead are unknown. At Salisbury, North Carolina, for instance, The known are only 85, while the unknown are 12,027. And 11,700 of these are buried in trenches. A national monument has been put up here by order of Congress to mark the spot. But what visible material monument can ever fittingly commemorate that spot? So Eddie Glaude refers to that poem. So of course I had to go find it, right? And what it made me think about was COVID. And so my question is, do you see any similarities in what we witnessed during the early months of the coronavirus pandemic and what Walt Whitman saw during the Civil War? If so, please describe.
Well, during the first, especially up in New York, from me looking in, it was horrible, and it's like a slow moving train that we saw coming, and then you didn't even clear the tracks, you just let the train just roll through a bunch of people and you saw it. And that's what it, remind me of, and still yet that train is still rolling, it's, either we dumb as a nation or we stupid. Pick one, just pick one.
Or evil.
Yeah, and that too. Diabolical. The first a multi-syllable word I learned from Bugs Bunny. Okay.
Yeah. Gio?
Well, what struck me, and when I think about the war documentaries and well-made movies about wars, are the immense numbers of people, of souls, relegated to a number. It's a number. And the number is so huge, it's really hard for us to get our minds around that those were people with lives and taken in horrific ways. And then just how brutal, war actually is when it comes to, how we wage war. It hasn't really changed. The technology has just gotten better. And
more efficient.
Yes, right. And then how Whitman takes the time to describe where these bodies and body parts are all over in states of irreverence, because we don't value not only the human body, we don't value the lives. And at the end, to just say, well, the monument, it says unknown, because not only was it impossible, probably humanly impossible, maybe they didn't even have the will to find out all of the names of the people whose lives were lost. And so we have the names of the people whose lives were lost, but we're not saying all of those 500,000 people, because the people did not numbers. And when we dehumanize it to that point, well, it's a number, these are facts, it's a chart, there's statistics, then we're disconnected from how it touches each of us. And then what we might be able to do to mitigate the damage. We're disconnected, which is the theme throughout Baldwin's essay is the willful disconnection, because right? After a while, you know what's real and what's not real, but you choose to continue in the fantasy because it's working for you somehow,
Right.
At the expense of others, and the bottom line, at the expense of yourself, your own humanity. So yeah, that's the connection I saw between them. And thank you for posting the poem. I'd never read it.
Yeah, me either. And that's immediately where my head went, was to coronavirus. That's what I got out of the poem, that he was saying, like, this is unbelievable. I can't believe there are dead bodies everywhere I turn. How is it, and the senselessness of it all? What is it even about? I think I heard today, globally, we're up to about 5.5 million, which is the conservative John Hopkins count. And how do you wrap your head around that kind of number? And how is it that the United States has a stockpile of vaccine that they're not even trying to share? And we know that viruses don't know geographic borders. So, so I guess we're just, people die and we just say, well, there goes another one. I mean,
think about it.
It just doesn't make sense.
I mean, why? I mean, it's only 8 billion of us, so people don't really care. Okay. I'm just saying, I am telling you, it's some. If you just read, and y'all do read more than I do, but the atrocities that man has caused throughout the history of uncivilization, if you will. They've done it throughout thousands of years, and this is just another time. I'm wondering, I read what interests me in reading James Baldwin's book essay was when he basically say, it's two things I will never forget about that book. Is say America don't care about children. When he said America don't care about children. And when he said, Black people, you can't protect your children. And that to me is very profound, especially when you can't. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, you can't protect them. You have a false sense of security. About the safest you can keep them is from 0 to 4. And after that, bets are off, and that's real,
Right. Because we don't control what other people do.
No, we don't, and so, no, don't care about the children, you can go to, who's really affected and why some aren't protected and some are, and, it's all about capitalism. I mean, we could have stopped a lot of things by saying, go and ramp up, whatever division of whatever industry you want, and pick out and kick out as many masses, and they're free at these locations everywhere in the United States of America.
Right.
You all probably already know. You all probably already know, but I have seen firsthand the ultimate power of the United States of America when it comes to logistically being able to do shit. You understand what I'm saying? If America wanted to have done that, we would have. I mean, we moved armies. It's amazing. we can do anything. No, there's no other country in the history of the written, what we have a written civilization. There's never been a country with this capability. So I don't get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but did you hear, Joel, that did you hear that Brazil is possibly in the process of charging their president, Bolsonaro, with genocide, homicide, and crimes against humanity because of his response to coronavirus. Now, the US has the highest number of deaths in the world, followed by Brazil. Yeah, and Bolsonaro was just trying to copycat that clown we had in office.
Right.
But what I don't understand is why Americans haven't done the same thing. Why is that criminal walking around free after letting loose all this carnage? And yeah, I do think it goes to the issue of how we care about each other. If we care about each other, if we care about ourselves, what do we care about?
Money. Just as James Baldwin said, he just said, he gave us what we care about. We put everything else under that, period. Think about it. We're a country that children wouldn't have been in school if it wasn't for the Industrial Revolution. They were dying all in the factories and some would be at home. They weren't going to school anywhere. They did anything doing that. Have we changed much? How many milk? We ain't got enough milk cartons to show the missing kids. You understand what I'm saying? People running out. Down here, somebody ran out of a Family Dollar store with a whole child in his damn hand. Just ran out. You understand what I'm saying? How do you run out of a store with a whole child? You know what I mean? But we don't do anything to protect them. We didn't do it then when James Baldwin saw it, and we don't do it now. We just don't care, man. We just don't give a damn. It's got to be about the dollar, period.
That is not a sustainable attitude, and particularly where the climate is involved. And
but to answer your question, how he got away with it is that 70-something million Americans agreed with it. Okay. 73 of his voters agreed with it.
Don't remind me. Don't remind me, Joel. I almost forgot.
It ain't like it was a blowout. You understand what I'm saying? But it was just too many of them thinking the way that he does. It's like, do you just ignore? Do you ramp this stuff up some more and throw flames on this crap, or you just hope this guy goes somewhere and fat himself away? You know what I mean? So what do you do?
Yeah.
What do you do? You got radiation on one side, you got cancer on the other. It's all not good, So,
did you bring a question for us to talk about?
Well, not exactly a question, but I am. When Glaude says that when he first looked at the essay with the pictures of Avedon, he really was concentrating on the pictures. I have to admit, I did that too, because, I went to see if there was a copy in the public domain. So I went to, archive.org, and there it was. And I found myself looking at all these pictures of these happy folks in the book. I'm like, well, is this the Baldwin book? Like, oh no, I have to find a copy that has no pictures, because they're so happy in the beginning. I mean, have you seen the original copy?
I have not seen the original copy. I know you shared the Juilliard play that was based on the Avedon book. Yeah.
Oh, well, just let me see if I can share my screen for a minute. And we can take a look at some of these pictures.
But that's funny you say that. I was listening to a podcast today with Wole Soyinka. You know, the Nigerian, and he has a new novel out, and it's called something like from the happiest place in the world, right? Nigeria. And for him, it's really an irony on, he's like, the last thing you're going to find here is happiness. But there was some world index some time back that voted Nigerians the happiest people in the world. And he was like, what the hell?
Who was visiting? I don't know.
Okay. Right. So it's like
probably got it off TripAdvisor or some crap. I don't.
So it's hard to picture happy pictures with Baldwin's words, right?
Yes.
So how was the Negroes that you saw in Nigeria on TripAdvisor? They were happy people.
They were happy. The slaves were happy too.
Oh my goodness. Oh, goodness.
All a point of view.
Exactly. So can you see my screen?
Yeah, what's that porn you got on the right-hand side?
Don't look over there.
Georgette, you got porn on your screen? What the hell?
Quiet. Look away. Well, anyway, so here are some of the pictures, the photographs included in the book, you know, so happy. And I suppose when taken in considering the text, the beginning of it, you know, we're in this illusion. These are the faces of illusion. But
okay.
Maybe what we're the American dream, you know, and then we have some of our history. Famous faces from history.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Some of these I don't know who some of these.
You got that out of a 1950 psychology book or something?
Oh wow.
And then what's interesting is, why is this picture of Malcolm out of focus?
They did it, yeah.
It's part of, maybe it's an artistic choice because it's more like a painting. But, you know, the way it's rendered here, which is interesting.
Well, it is.
It's very cool. I'd like to know what the photographer, what his reasons were behind it.
Well, I interpret out of it that they not even clear on him. You know, that's what it looked like.
Okay.
They're not even clear. You know, they haven't informed the opinion. It's still kind of blurry. That's what I get out of it.
Okay.
Children.
Somebody look like they need some sleep. Two or three. Or they look like the lady on the right, you know, with the bad eyes. She looked like that's a morgue shot.
I'm trying to see what.
Oh, why are you doing a close-up?
What
the hell? You know, Halloween.
I think she's right. Okay, I'm moving along. We don't let you guys. Come on. Y'all get beside yourself. Okay.
Man, they picked some pictures of some people where life just beat the hell out of them.
You were trying to show how scary America is.
Jesus Christ.
Wait, it ain't got scary yet. Wait, hold on. Hold on. It's about to get scary. Okay.
I mean, this guy's over there sleeping with his butt crack out. What the hell?
Oh, wow.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that's a regular New York City scene.
Yeah. Okay. I was going to say the insane asylum lady on the left is in shackles to a pole. You know,
Okay. Okay.
so with any respect, any human dignity.
Yeah.
So I thought perhaps that's a reflection of, you know, we are mentally ill. We're chained. We just don't know it. Our cell is pretty.
Right.
So here are two. They look like inmates, and they're holding hands. So I don't know if this was a commentary on sexuality, you know, love or whatever. I'm not sure. Or perhaps we're still just looking at pictures of mentally ill people.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, go back a second. The guy on the right looks like he's older.
Yeah.
And the one holding his hand looks younger, and like maybe he could even be his son. So maybe it's like, you know, because, you know, he does talk about love between parent and child, and you know.
Yeah.
What's up with the lady with her hands in her mouth?
I'm going to say she needs some medication.
Yeah.
I think that's there.
Okay.
Okay,
A lot of that going on.
Yes.
Rage.
Yeah, he's experiencing strong emotions there. There's some women lying on the ground, and lady in dark.
Black lady.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then I guess this is towards the end of the book. Here, the hope for the future.
And of course, as James Baldwin, half the pages are empty. He didn't have much hope. He didn't take no hopeful pictures, did he? Go back one.
What?
See, look, this is what hope looks like in the future. Half a page again.
But I'd like to think that these are two people of two different ethnicities, because this little boy looks rather dark. So that's cool, you know. And then the father holding up his son, the hope of the future. And that's the real hope of the future. Our children doing better than we've done, hopefully.
Yeah, wow.
Right. So, yeah.
Well, thank you.
I finally found something that they're not going to block on YouTube.
How you know?
Right, maybe.
Right. Well, wait a minute. There's a copyright there somewhere.
Oh, wow. That was good. Yeah, no, I had not seen that. Wow. Okay. What else?
Well, I like your question too. Let's talk about that.
That's the one we just did. That's Walt Whitman.
3A.
You want to read it?
Okay. Lucien Happersberger, Baldwin's lover, was with him on vacation in Puerto Rico when Baldwin heard the news of the assassination of Medgar Evers, and he began writing nothing personal under the shadow of that death. Baldwin's family, including his mother, Berdice, joined him on the island. Between death and love, Baldwin found a way. Nothing personal is a eulogy of sorts and a declaration of the will. In the end, the power of loving someone and of being loved, equips us to endure the world as it is and to imagine the world as it could be. Even the emptiness of America can be overcome, Baldwin maintained. We have the litany of the saints to bear witness to such a fact. They are those who, through the horror and brutality of American life, still loved and refused to die. And question A. There is a fairly new book, The Three Mothers, How the Mothers of Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, and James Baldwin Shaped a Nation by Anna Malika Tubbs, and an article I posted about it. In the article, People magazine writer Morgan Smith writes, James wasn't the only talented writer in the Baldwin family. Verdies wrote beautiful letters, praised by many of his teachers who credited the budding actor's success to his mother. Tubbs includes this telling quote from Gertrude Ayer, the principal of James' first school in New York, in The Three Mothers. She had the gift of using language beautifully. Her notes and her letters, written to explain her son's absences, were admired by the teachers and me. This talent transmitted through her is surely the basis of James' success. Verdies not only encouraged James to express himself through writing, but to choose love and forgiveness over hatred. When his abusive stepfather, David, was dying in 1943, Verdies pushed James to visit him in the hospital and gain the closure he needed to let go of the hatred he'd carried for so many years, Tubbs writes. Hope and acceptance would be major themes in Baldwin's seminal works, including If Beale Street Could Talk and Notes of a Native Son, no doubt influenced by Verdies. How has the power of love shaped and informed and sustained your life?
Thank you. All right, I've gone first already. Somebody else's turn.
Go ahead, Georgette.
Me? Oh, well, unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to read the article, but I love that the quote. I love that.
And basically, the rest of the other article is like a similar paragraph for each person, King and Malcolm, and I just picked out the Baldwin piece.
Baldwin.
Yeah.
Okay, great. But it's so, that is, to me, it says two important things about how you can positively influence your children and then how others see your children, right? She did two things by just being a caring mother and having a skill for communication. I'm sure that young James saw the effect of the letter writing and then how people looked at him because of his mother. And so I'm like, hey, this is a skill that works. Let me, spread my wings and, get involved in doing this kind of thing. And that was exactly where he found his voice, through his writing. And so redemptive to bring your child back around, and not only your physical child, but the child in you back around you. You see all of this mess all around you, so negative, so evil. But if you wish to not just give up the ghost right now, well, then you better go to the power that sustains, which is love and forgiveness. And people think that forgiveness is to forget, but no, that's just, I don't know, can't think of the psychological term for it now, but it's
free yourself.
Right. If you're forgetting, it's still in there. You haven't dealt with it. But forgiveness is to really look at what it is that hurt you or was hurtful, analyze it, and somehow make it lose its power over you, right? You do what you have to do with your internal conversation to defang it, right? Because as long as it's living in your head, it's always doing the same thing that it did to you, re-injuring you in all the ways that happened when it happened in real time. So even through this this essay, when he starts off with the pain, with the hurt, with the impossibility of what is wrong with the human psyche, that it continues along these self-destructive narratives. The only thing that survives everything, all hurts, is love. And love is life, because life always finds a way. But it can't find a way without love. So,
That's deep.
Absolutely.
That's deep, deep. But you know, these are one of them kind of questions I don't even tell my psychiatrist, so I pass on this one.
It's not my favorite question either. But you know, you cannot read Baldwin without confronting issues of love. You know, that's just what he's about. I think for me, what I hate talking about, Joelle, I hate the whole subject of romantic love with BJ got us started on that a couple of weeks ago. I'm still mad at her.
Okay.
No. But I think I think Baldwin really is touching on all different kinds of love relationships in this essay, because they all matter. You know, they all have a place, and they all make a difference. And so when he's talking about not caring about our children and, you know, that kind of thing, you know, I mean, I think Georgette has probably heard me say many times, I feel fortunate that I did have two loving parents. And I was especially close to my father, who passed when I was 19. But even within those 19 years, he gave me a vision of what real love looks like. And you know, I know it's not a good idea to compare your daddy to, to the other men that come through your life. But I do think it's important that we give our children an experience of what good love, real love looks like and feels like. So when they encounter all of that phony stuff out there, and there is a lot of it, you know, they have the capacity to say, no, you know, I know what love looks like. This ain't it. So I'm going to pass. And when I pass, I'm not allowing myself to experience the worst that people have to offer. And I think that when you accept the worst that people have to offer, you set yourself up for this place where we are, as we were talking about in the earlier conversation, where we don't care about each other anymore. We've become so hard-hearted, so disconnected. We don't feel safe in love. But it wasn't love that let us down. It was the fake love that let us down. And, you know, so if you don't know what you're getting into, then you can't protect yourself from the really evil shit that's out there.
Well, you know, you made a
Oh, I thought you didn't have anything to say about this, Joel.
Well, you know, not as the question are coming from Geo with enough mush on what she had that you could have baked the cake with it. I wasn't going behind that, but I go behind what you're saying. But yeah, my son, when he would, you know, go out and, you know, he, you know, dating different um, girls when, you know, he was just getting out of high school and stuff. I could always tell when he was going out and dating a young lady that had two parents in the house, opposed to one that had one, because he would come home at a reasonable time. You know what I mean? Not, you know, 40 minutes before the sun come up. You know, we're talking 2-ish or something like this here. I said, this girl got a daddy. You know, he was like, no. Then I know what to expect. You understand what I'm saying? When he come creeping in there on a you know Tuesday night, he coming in. It's coming in, you know, maybe 10 o'clock or something like this here. If you know, even you know, then if it's you know one parent, he's coming in at you know 2 or 3 o'clock. Then I'm like, Jesus. But anyway. But
oh, well, I've never heard that before. Have you ever heard that, Gio?
Well, you know, it all depends on what kind of person the parent is, because.
Well, yeah, I'm just talking.
But that's your experience.
Yeah, I'm just anecdotal experience.
Yeah, it kind of gives us some hope. Because
I'm just saying.
Like y'all gonna be on the couch and I'm gonna be sitting there and look at that.
Right. Right.
Or whatever.
But you know, you're talking about, you know, her talking about having a father taught her what it should look like. What I'm saying is the same thing. You know, based on my experience with my son, these young ladies had fathers that was in there that would pull them to the side and say, hey, you know, young lady coming in, blah, 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 blah. Are you sure this the one? You understand what I'm saying? Say, you know, this guy, you know, he might just want this here. Yeah, he's promising you this. He don't mean that. Look, he's just trying to get something, you know, and that what you got. So treat yourself differently. You know, that talk will happen. You know what I mean? You know, in every household, you know, that a father cares about his daughter going out there and say, hey, you know, wait a minute, this guy's full of it. You know what I mean? You know, you want to say that for somebody that gives a damn. You know, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
You're right. And what Michelle said about, you know, the parent of the opposite sex informing the young person about how am I supposed to deal with it.
Exactly. Yeah.
We're their examples about how to deal in the world.
Yeah, we tell them and they
see this role. You know, it's very important.
Yeah.
And even though James Baldwin didn't have any children, I don't think he had children. You know, he still was a loving member of society.
Oh yeah.
And he could see that, you know, I mean, we do, you know, Joel, you talk about us not reading books by men.
Oh.
But yes, I'm back. But you know, we put so much energy into devaluing women and what we have deemed to be women's roles. But if we really gave parenting the value that it deserves, if we really gave education the value that it deserves, we really have in our hands the power to change the world. And, I think you were in the beginning, maybe before Georgette got here, you were talking about the whole critical race theory arguments going on. And the thing is, and I said it's all a distraction because it is, but really, those white folks understand that what you do with the children sets the foundation for what society is going to look like 10, 20, 30, 40 years down the road. And so if you want a racist world, then you need to make sure that you're not teaching the truth. You need to make sure that children are not learning how to get, understand each other and get along with each other. If what you want is to keep chaos and hate and division and all of that nastiness going, then yeah, you need to get with the curriculum at elementary school. But by the same token, if you want a healthy world, it's gotta happen before kindergarten. It's gotta happen from the earliest stages.
That's true. Yeah.
So the fight is on.
So your point is these people know what they're doing. Okay. Yep. You're right.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah. They know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing. Not necessarily the ones that are out there foaming at the mouth, screaming at the top of their lungs at the school board meetings.
We're talking about the hidden
ones that are pulling their strings.
The hidden hand.
The hidden hand. They know what they're doing.
Yeah. Yep. Ain't nothing like getting your agenda done by causing chaos. You can get a lot of crap done like that. If that's your
yeah.
If that's your weapon of choice. So
yeah, it's very effective.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
so
wish you could end up on a little lighter note there. I'm like, yeah, we all do. yeah, they know what they're doing, and like my brother say. So we figured out, right? So my brother say, he said, "Do you think the lion gives a damn what the gazelle is thinking when he's chewing on his ass?"
Don't think he does.
Exactly.
I don't think he does, but that's why the gazelle got to learn how to run faster.
Okay. Exactly.
Oh man! All right, let's go back. What was question one about? My favorite topic, politics.
Oh no.
Joelle, why don't you read that one? Question one.
Oh, I got to try to bring it up on my phone. Hold on a second here.
Yeah, James Baldwin gets all personal, gets all up in your heart and your spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, somebody else go ahead and do it. My phone froze up on me.
Okay, I got it. Question one. This is the first time Glaude has lingered on this essay. Avedon's images he now sees somewhat obscured the claim about the perils of American adolescence. And my God, in the aftermath of Donald Trump's presidency, we need to hear the plea clearly in all of its complexity. Question. Biden and co, it seems, have not fought very hard for the things that matter most to many Americans. Things like election integrity, paid family leave, for example. Are we as citizens guilty, yet again, of looking to our elected leaders for salvation they are incapable of delivering? And if so, what would it look like to be an adult citizen? Oh, that's another hard question.
Well, I'm gonna answer, if I may, I answer the first one. I mean, the first part of that, being
We'll be right
disappointed.
back. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. They if they had the majority in the Senate like they're supposed to, it'll be very easy. But when you still fighting as a majority with a 51-49, because they got damn Joe Manchin, ain't much you can do. I mean, you know what I mean? It's just as simple as that. I mean, this guy is holding up the agenda. It's just like playing squash with yourself. It's just like cutting yourself. And nobody can do anything about it. That's just as plain and simple. I mean, that's the politics of it all, but it ain't nothing you can do with the system that you got. That's just as simple as that.
Well, don't you think that's leading to a lot of discontent and disillusionment in the constituency, because the things that were promised to be fought for, we see the progressives fighting the moderates, fighting the fake Democrats, while the Republicans cheer it on. We don't know who's getting paid.
But but my point is this right here. It's almost like having three parties now. It's like having the Republicans, it's having the Democrats, and then it's got the Dixiecrat, which has one person, which is fucking Joe Manchin. You understand what I'm saying? That's just it. He has his own agenda. And I mean, yeah, I'll agree it causes discontent. But for those of us who knows the real mechanics of numbers and politics, this is just jacked up from the point that you got one person that is more powerful than anybody else in politics. That one freaking senator. We have to go to his terms, whether we like it or not. That's it. And that's really jacked up. But that's just the way it is. If it was a more left leaning, we would have had blown through all the agenda by now. I know this is saying, is there anything more diabolical? Might be, but I'm looking at this guy just turn down every fucking thing, and ain't nothing nobody can do. you know, and that's sad, but it's the truth. Unless you want to think
Manchin
into
and cinema.
yeah, yeah, you know.
That's why I phrased the question that way. What would it look like to be an adult citizen? Because I think we have a system that's supposed to work in theory. We have democracy. We have majority rule. But for one reason or another, the Democrats control the presidency. They control the House. They have a split in the Senate, but they have the ability to break the tie in the Senate. So for one reason or another, whether the Democrats are in control or the Republicans are in control, policies that are good for people never seem to survive the cutting floor in this system that we have been told to participate in and go along with. I voted today, and I really didn't want to vote. It's just that my girlfriend guilted me into it. But I was so not excited about the mayoral candidates in New York. New York went through this big thing of ranked choice voting back in the primary. There were like 1,000,006 candidates that you could choose from during the primary. There was a person that I liked, she didn't win. And so then from this big list of that we had for the ranked choice, you get down to the mayoral election, and it was more than two. It was the Republican, the Democrat, there was a socialist, and maybe one other candidate, I don't know. But the only ones that you've heard anything about or seen anything about in the lead up has been the Republican and the Democrat. And I wasn't excited about either one of them. So I really didn't want to vote. But my friend was like, well, you don't have to vote. But of course, not voting is a vote too.
You fell for the old non-participating.
I fell for it. So I went and I voted. Okay. But that's the game we're told we're supposed to play in order to pursue the things that we would expect to our government to provide. Mm-hmm. But it's just that it never seems to work out for more than a top few. And so that's why I'm asking the question. So how many decades, how many centuries, how long do we go along in participating in a system that never seems to feel obligated to meet, they do a couple of things here and there. I thought some of the things that some of the responses to COVID were, halfway decent. But, on balance, they don't do much. And so to me, that says that there has to be another way of looking at this. There has to be a way of flipping the script. And, and what would that look like? And I don't mean the people that are screaming at school board meetings and threatening the lives of election officials and doctors and all of that kind of craziness. But there has to be a way. I can't wrap my head around, there is no way. This is the only way. To me, there's always choices.
Well, perhaps the first thing that has to be done, going back to this theme of eternal adolescence, and you just gave two great examples of adolescent behavior, not using your words, right? Mm-hmm. Just screaming and because you want it your way and no way else, is having some real penalties for people who are not acting like grown-ups. And that's I don't know, we're just excusing it. You hear people, oh, this happened and these people are doing this. But where are the repercussions? School boards, people are not running for them or volunteering to be on them because they don't want their lives threatened, right? Because these are parents of children, right? Who are acting like complete idiots. Where did you come from? All right, what happened to let's live together in a society that benefits all of us? Okay, we can compromise on this. And it's just out of control. We no longer know how to do things in a civil manner. And it's especially because, it's not only not penalized, it's encouraged. Okay, the image of the strong man or woman who stands up for something and speaks out. But okay, that's great, but what's the point? And where are you trying to go with it? Who is it benefiting? And how are you doing it? What's the perception that people are having?
Mhm.
And so then you have these parents screaming out and acting out. And of course, their children are going to be doing the same thing in the classroom, and then that the teacher can't handle because she's the only one there, right? Because the teacher, for whatever reasons, and there are many, they're out of the system because they don't want to deal with it anymore because they don't have the support or the experience, And it's a lot. To deal with this eternal adolescence that we think is the American way. This is how you're supposed to act.
Well,
Right.
I think it's harder to see what complete adulting or total adulting will look like after the last 4.5, 5 years. You know, you could have asked that question, and forget the Trump era and just had the pandemic, and we could see how we could get back to it because we had a sense of normancy that this agency is going to handle this, 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 and this, and this. We have never in the history of it's not a there could not have been a worse time for a pandemic to
We have a
happen.
child.
Yeah, have a pandemic during a time where you got a damn idiot, and so it couldn't have happened at a worse time, So coming out of that, you mentioned earlier the mental health of each individual. Look at it from the micro and the macro. You look at it like each individual, what is their mental state, and multiply that across the country. So, what is the mental health state of the entire country? You understand what I'm saying? We got a bunch of crazy damn people in America, crazier. You understand what I'm saying? And we got people that goes off the hinges about, you know what I mean? I'm for salt and he's for pepper, you know, and I hate him for that. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying? We got people, anti cucumbers and anti tomatoes. They about to kill each other. You know what I mean? And the list goes on and on and on, man. So that's where we're at. So I can't really answer that question because you gotta somehow know to face face the real history and the real truth. Or reality is just gonna keep slapping what you're trying to force on the rest of the world of who you are, you know, it's just gonna intensify because it's gonna get worse because people are seeing who you are. Everybody's
Yeah,
on.
and I mean I can't answer it either, Joelle. I just throw it out there for the collective to ponder.
It's actually,
I mean I have my days when I think that Joe Biden wants to do right, and I have my days when I'm not so sure. But this we have a lot of problems, but this issue of the climate and burning up the place that we live, I just can't believe, I don't want to believe that there aren't enough adults all over the globe to do whatever is necessary to stop this train wreck that we're on.
Hey, what I tell you about them train wrecks, they just keep pushing people on the track. They don't care. They just keep pushing people on the track. What I tell y'all about that train?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
That's not very hopeful.
I
Hey,
know.
I should,
mean,
the song I should have sent in. You know, Michael Jackson. They don't care about us.
no, they won't.
They don't even seem to care about themselves. I mean, that's the crazy part.
Oh, the 1% care about themselves a lot. It's just a.
Well, where are they gonna live? Are they planning on living in space when they burn up Earth?
George, I can tell you better than I can. Hold, I'll be right.
What? We're not going on the okay. Well, look, you know that movie, Elysium?
Where they going, Georgette? Where they going?
They got it all mapped out. They're living on Mars, and then they're gonna hop to some of these other planets that are Earth-like, because there's a bunch of them, and start over. I mean, that's their dream. Because the rest of us, unwashed masses, useless eaters, are the raw material for all of that. I mean, if you think about the whole mindset of capitalism, it's about usury, right? Using resources to your own benefit, no matter the cost. So, I mean, we have so many problems. If you go back to what you're talking about environmentally, I was just listening to a short podcast by a holistic doctor, and he was telling you that, plastics they break down, but they never, disintegrate. You have microparticles floating around in the water, and the oceans, it's in the soil. So basically, if you eat and drink on this planet, you have microplastics in you. And so what is that doing to?
I was hearing some of that same thing today. What is it, phthalates or something
that too. I mean, my goodness, we have just allowed industries to dominate what's the best thing for the planet. I mean, first we're fooled into thinking that, what happens on one side of the planet doesn't happen on the other. Well, hey, it's a, yes, it does.
It does.
Yes, it does. You can't get away from it. And our resources are infinite. No, look at what's left of the Colorado River over there that they've been telling you for decades. Hey, get these industries, get rid of that dam. Okay, the rest of the people down here don't have any water. And yet they're still they're still constructing. I was having a conversation with a friend the other day, and they're, about why people go to Arizona and those states over there. There's no water. You think I'm going where I can't have grass, even though grass is like one of the most useless plants you can have. You should be raised in a garden. But, if you don't have enough water to wash your behind, that's not the place for you. Okay. I don't care if you have a casino there. Can you eat those chips? Can you eat those chips? It's just senseless, repeatedly, insane behavior. Now, if you were practical, you could see this is a crazy setup here. Why do we continue to do it? Because someone with more power and influence over people is making a profit. And they can afford to move the scales of justice and the lines of real estate and utilities in their favor. And until we can, pull back and address that, address the disparities in why a utility company can have solar panels and solar panel rebates, but the regular homeowner cannot have that and is subject to the predatory nature of the industry, where you're forced to have a lien on your home to get something that should be free from the sky. And then you have other states, I think it's Arizona, one of those states, where the rain that falls on your home.
That's Colorado.
Colorado does not belong to you, so you cannot collect it in a rain barrel.
Sure can.
Oh, and we have so many of these pockets of crazy legislation that's fueled by corporation. And we are not unable to address. Case in point, the lawyer who fought for, was it Shell or Exxon? Fought against Shell. It was either Shell or Exxon in one of the South American countries.
Oh,
Chevron?
Ecuador.
Chevron.
Ecuador.
I've been reading about the oil spills in that country forever.
Yep.
Finally, the people are able to receive some justice. And what does this corporation do that has more money than God? Put the lawyer
They decide to ruin his life.
Okay, because if he does not divulge these documents, that's where he's going. But if he does, then it ruins his client's case. They find a way to win. How do we fight against these people who care nothing about the lives of blood that has to be spilled, the land that needs to be torched for, what is it called? For mammon, right? For how much money do you need? How much power do you need that you don't care about what's left of the planet? Whether children in mud.
That's a great point. But again, I must redirect you to, do you think the lion gives a damn about what the gazelle is thinking while he eats his ass?
No, but that's why I said the gazelle has to learn how to run faster. And really what I mean by that, just to end on a more positive note, is really what James Baldwin, I believe, is trying to get us to see or contemplate in this essay is the power of love, the necessity of love in our lives, because love is a fuel. Love is a source of energy. Love propels, love compels. The reason I started doing the Revolutionary Love Leadership series a few years ago, even though I haven't done it as intensely or consistently as I'd like to. But it was because I could perceive all of these really negative attitudes and comments and perspectives about love going on in the world. Like, we really have turned our back on love as if love is a useless emotion. But as I was saying earlier, I believe what you're really turning your back on was an experience with something other than love that was pretending to be love. So to me, when you start to turn your back on the power of love, then to me, what you're saying is the one source of energy that we have. We can't catch the rain. We can't freely breathe the air or drink the water, but love is what we have to generate internally. And so if we're saying that we're not even going to use that power in our own interest, then yeah, we may as well lay there in the lion's mouth and have our ass eaten.
Wow, so graphic.
But if we don't, you started it.
I got it. I'm trying to get that vision out of my mind. Lay in there, go over the teeth. Ooh, okay, crunch.
But if we don't want to go out like that, then we need to find the one source or however many sources of energy that we can muster, our own ingenuity, our own creativity, our own power, the power of love. To begin to get creative, because these people, and I think Georgette must be right, they must be planning to go to Mars, because they are sure condemning the rest of us to this hell. Oh, I was trying to end on a positive note.
Yeah. Well, you leave it right there at the, that quote you did from Luther, the power of love. Okay. Boom.
Power of love. If it wasn't going to get clipped out of our video, I'd play the song.
What if we hum it?
And they can't control everything, see?
Oh my God.
All right. Any final comments on this chapter or the entire book? Or
No, I enjoyed you ladies. Thank you.
well, thanks for showing up, Joelle. So I think next week, Gio, can we have a private meeting and talk about what we're going to do next?
Okay.
Well, this is my grandson, Tori.
Hey.
Look at my grandpa.
Oh my God, you look just like your grandpa. Hi.
They said hi.
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 Nice to meet you.
All right, now go on. Papa will be there in a little bit. All right. All right. Close the door.
So Joelle, if you want to come next week, we're going to have a private meeting and figure out what our next thing is, so you could come and pitch some male titles to us if you want.
Okay, I might do that. Okay.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
no, I'm driving out of town. I won't be able to do it.
Well, you can still send
some stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Send
Okay.
in your stuff.
All right.
All right. Y'all have a good week.
All right, you too. All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.